Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to talk about what it's like witnessing my best friend getting transitioned. Yup, this is going to be a pretty juicy one, so hopefully you guys got your popcorn and your soda, your drinks, because this might be a good story. And before this video starts though, I just want to say, hope you guys did have a good Easter. Um, as I'm recording this right now, it is Easter. So, happy Easter to everyone that had it. Hopefully, you guys saw some family. Maybe not. If you guys don't celebrate it, that's cool too. Hopefully, you guys are just having a good day in general. And, thank you guys so much for watching my other video, like my relationships video. It got like over 10 views, which is awesome. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it definitely means a bunch for me. So thank you guys. But yeah, let's get on for this video. What it's like for my friend to transition. So yeah. All right. So pretty much this whole um situation kind of started around my like senior year of high school was when things started to like go that way. So let me give you guys some backstory. So um um before though, I will put their channel name right here somewhere on the screen, and I'll link their channel in the description. Make sure you guys go subscribe to this person because they're my best friend and all, and they make pretty good videos about Nintendo and stuff. So you know shout out to Opaque Tulip 6428, if that's how you pronounce it. Shout out to um shout out to OP. I'll call you OP. Shout out to OP. Opaque. Yeah, but go give them a sub. But this whole situation kind of started around like my senior year, and this person does not like have a good relationship with their dad. I would say hopefully that's all right. For hopefully everything in this is okay. They did give me the green light to do this, so that's good. um I don't think many people see this anyway, so yeah. um but anyways, I'm sorry I'm getting sidetracked, but um they don't have a good relationship with their dad. They kind of fight a bit, and um yeah, it's just not good in general. So she decided to move to college pretty much because she wanted to get away from them. She was like, I want to get out of here. I ain't dealing with that. So now she's in college. And during that time, during our senior year, I learned that there were kind of signs previously that I did pick up on. I was like, I'm pretty sure at one point she was like into guys, and I kind of noticed that, like she was talking about guys like that. I was like, that's a little weird, but okay, if that's what you're into, I guess. So that's kind of how I thought of it, and stuff. But then she pretty much told me that like I'm gonna like transition, and I was just like, oh, okay. um if this is something that you want to do, then go for it. If it makes you happy and stuff. That's pretty much how I felt about it, because I'm pretty sure they weren't like comfortable in their own skin, like as a male and everything. And that's definitely a problem. If you're not comfortable in your own skin, that's definitely not good. I just find it important, um, for everyone at least, to be comfortable in their own skin. I just think that's, and for you to be happy in your own skin. Um, I just think that is super important, because if you're not happy, then things can go wrong, and everything. You have to be happy and stuff. So they decided, hey, I want to transition. I was just like, okay. And so slowly, like, and surely, things started to like um go that way when she like took me to shopping with her. She wanted me to go shopping with her to like look at dresses. And during this process, I was kind of like weirded out like a little bit. Probably a lot actually, if I'm honest. Because we were going to the like woman section, and obviously I wasn't. I've never really been there because I'm not a woman. So I'm seeing like bras and everything. I'm seeing all the woman clothing that I'm not supposed to be there, and she's trying on dresses and stuff. I'm trying to give her feedback. Um, it was definitely a pretty weird process for me to kind of go through that. Um, and to kind of like look at dresses with her. That was definitely something I might not really want to do again. Maybe like if I don't know, I probably wouldn't want to do that again. If I'm honest, I think she would be more comfortable with that if she did it with a woman, because obviously I'm not a woman, so I can't really give her the best feedback. Um, so she probably needs a reliable source, so she should probably do that, with a woman. So I probably wouldn't want to do that again. Um, and there was this one time where she was wearing like an outfit that was, in my opinion, like extremely inappropriate, I would say, and I kind of wish I told her. Um, but if she's probably watching this now, so she might like learn this. But this outfit was like really tight on her, and you know, it was just not okay to be like worn in public. It was kind of like it was pretty much like a dress. I don't even know if it was a dress, but it was a long like just single layer of clothing all around her, and it was extremely tight. I don't even think it fit her, and it was kind of like revealing, like and I don't know why she wore it, but she did. And we went to McDonald's, but there was literally children there, and that's not okay to wear something like that while there's children. That's just really weird. I will say now, the outfits that she's currently wearing, like, is definitely much, much, much better than that outfit. And it's definitely important if you are considering like transitioning and stuff to make sure the clothing is, you know, respectable. Make sure the clothing like actually fits. Like make sure the clothing is kind of attractive to the people you're trying to reach. Because you don't want to look like a hoe or something. You don't want to look like any of that, right? You want to make sure you're representing the gender that you're trying to go for in the best way possible. That's kind of the way I see it. You want to make sure you're as respectable as possible when it comes to clothing, because I feel like too many like times nowadays, are seeing so many like ads and shit of women like revealing with pretty like revealing clothing and stuff. I'm sure you guys see them everywhere. They're all over YouTube too. You can see them, and it's awful. I hate that shit. I always block those ads. Um, and I fucking hate those ads. So I think it's really important for the clothing to be good. You gotta make sure your clothing is on par pretty much. And yeah, so during this process I was a little bit weirded out because obviously I'm witnessing my like best friend kind of changes her whole life pretty much, from a male to a female. And you know that's definitely that was pretty hard on me, for a bit, because I wasn't like used to this. I was like, you know, processing it for a little while. Obviously, I'm kind of like used to it now. I kind of see them the same. They're pretty much the same person. You know, they just maybe act a little differently than they used to. They're, you know, trying to do certain things now, you know. And as long as they're happy, you know, as long as this is something that, um, you know, that they want to do, then, you know, I'll support it. Um, but I think it's okay for, you know, people not to support it, but obviously not to outright control it, you know. I don't want, like, when people try to control it and be like, no, 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 you're not going to do this, right? I don't think that's okay right there, you know? I kind of feel the same way about, like, someone being racist. Like, let's say someone is racist, right? I think it's okay for them to be racist, but not to go out and, like, attack people, right? Or say very disrespectful, like, things to them, right? But you can be racist, just keep those thoughts to yourself, right? That's kind of the way I see it. It's kind of the same way for, you know, sexuality is you can not approve of those things, right? But you shouldn't you shouldn't, like, go out and try to stop it, or, you know, try to cause riots over it. Like, that is not okay, and that is something I don't really tolerate. That's kind of the way I see it. At least in my opinion, those are kind of my beliefs in it. Oh yeah, let's not even go into the prices for this stuff. Um, the prices for, like, changing your gender is enormous. Like, it is gonna be so expensive for her to, like, you know, get all these surgeries and stuff. If she is, like, downright serious with being a woman, because she has to change her whole body. Like, that is insane for me to think about, right? You literally have to change your private part. That is, oh my god. You know, just me thinking about it is, like, crazy. You, the fact that someone can do that, that is insane to me. Like, you that it's kind of like getting your heart transplanted or something like that. Like getting your brain transplanted. That's kind of how I see it. Like, you're getting your, like, that's crazy. I don't know too much about it. Like, I'm not an expert in that shit, but you know, that's definitely, like, up there in price for sure. Like, and obviously she does not have the money for that, so she's definitely gonna have to wait a little bit. And this is a decision that's really big. Like, this is a one-time, like, decision in your life, and, you know, if you make this, you probably can't go back, because it's gonna cost a shit ton if you want to go back again. And I don't even know if you can go back. You know, it's insane. Like, the prices for, like, changing your gender and stuff. Like, if you're serious about, like, all of that, it's enormous, man. It's definitely not cheap, and it is enormous. It's very expensive. But yeah, I think that might be it for his video, because, you know, I'm kind of running out of things to really say. Um, you know, I guess for me, like, going through the process, at first, it was definitely pretty weird, like, if I'm completely real, because, you know, I'm seeing her try on a bunch of dresses, and, you know, she might be wearing, like, bras and stuff in the future, and, you know, that stuff might be a little weird and, like, getting used to. You know, she might be wearing makeup and stuff, like, kind of little things that, like, might take me time to get used to. But obviously I still think she's the same person. You know, she's still my friend and everything. And, you know, if this makes her happy, that's just something that will, you know, boost her mental health and, you know, happiness, then, you know, go for it. You know, I just hope she, you know, make sure she's representing women, you know, the best way, because, you know, I do not want to see any more, like, Ice Spices or, you know, stripper, like, people out there, you know, that are just destroying, like, the, you know, stereotype kind of for, like, women. Like, same thing for men, for, like, YNs, you know, kind of like, you know, hood mentality, like, tough, super, like, you know, manly, you know, masculine, men, like, I feel the same way. Like that stereotype is also destroying like kind of the male gender. You know, I don't want both of those at all. You know, I just want people to be themselves. You know, I don't want them to be these like stereotypes and wear these types of clothing because it appeals. You know, it's popular and shit. You know, wear stuff that is important to you. You know, be comfortable in your shoes. You know, just feel. You know, don't go out and cause mayhem. You know, that's kind of the advice I would give, I guess. I'm you know, but I think that might be it for this video. I hope this person is doing well. Hope everyone else has had a good Easter, having a good and wonderful day. You know, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. This has been my experience of witnessing my friend kind of change genders. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.